Our guest is driving home and has promised to be in within the next 5 minutes. However, today we have new leadership and people who are taking over the fellowship. So this is probably one of 2 times you'll hear me. So over to the team leading us this evening, led by our Rotary Foundation Director, Francis Amonde. Francis, over to you.
Good evening, Rotarians, guests, Rotaractors. It's a pleasure to invite you to today's meeting. And so I hope that you're fine wherever you are. We are taking over this meeting today. It's interesting. I've never led a Rotary meeting. So if I go outside the normal Rotary stuff, do not find me so heavily at the end of it, but please bear with me. So we're going to start with the national anthem, and we'll play that from our screen, and then you can be able to follow through. Thank you. Then after our national anthem, Rotarian Eric Mo will do the 4-way test. Rotarian Valentine will do the Rotary Grace. Yes, and I'll pick it up from there. Rotarian Eric Mugo, the 4-way test.
Good evening, family of Rotary. The 4-way test of the things we do, say, we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build better? Will it build good? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Rotarian Eric. Now we go to Rotarian Valentine for the Rotary Grace.
Someone confirm.
The Rotary Grace. O Lord and giver of all that is good, we thank thee for our daily food. May Rotary friends and Rotary ways help us to serve thee all our days. Amen.
Thank you so much, Rotarian Valentine. Allow me to invite Rotarian Mutie to do the objects of Rotary.
The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular, to encourage and foster, first, the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. 2, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. 3rd, the application of ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. And 4th, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service.
Thank you so much, Rotarian Mutia. I would proceed to carry out a few introductions. Just if I'll pick randomly, and beware that our ISA for the day is Rotarian Millie. So if you misbehave in certain aspects, we will be very happy at the end of this meeting. So yes, so going to the introductions, I'll go straight to Charlene. Kindly introduce yourself and maybe say what has been sticking out for you this week. Seems Charlene is still not on. I will go to Victoria Gaia.
Francis, pardon.
Just introduce yourself and then say what has been sticking out for you since the week began.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Victoria Gaia. My week hasn't been that good, so I'm trying to think of a positive thing, but yeah. Oh, my best friend's birthday is tomorrow, so maybe that's a positive thing for me this week.
Okay, thank you. Millie, I hope you're noting the fines. Victoria Gaia just said her name only, so she didn't follow the Rotary protocols of introduction, but it is well. We are going to be reached at the end of this meeting. So I'll go to, I can see someone by the name Cyril Wafula. Kindly introduce yourself.
Good evening, family and friends of Rotary Jabali. My name is Cyril Wafula, a Rotaractor from the Rotary Club of Nakuru. Classification is entrepreneurship. I deal in cleaning services. So far, what has spoke to me this week is it has been a week for polio. So I'm happy to contribute towards ending polio. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cyril. I can see Florence Kamau. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm in a good place, but thank you for picking me. I'm a guest and I'm honored to be here and I'm here to learn. Thank you.
You're welcome, feel most welcome. I hope Elvis is here so that the next moment you'll be Rotary Jabali certified. And Terer. So let me see. Victor, there is, yeah, I can see someone by the name Victor. I believe it's just one person. Kindly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. Yeah, sorry I'm not able to put my video on. Yes, my name is Victor Terima, classification a data analyst, and I'm happy to be here today. I think this week one thing that has stood out for me was the Prime Minister appointment in the UK. I think they have someone of Indian ethnicity, which is a first. So yeah, glad to see we're having more diverse leadership in Western countries.
Oh, thank you so much. I will leave the rest. I know where I'm going to get them at, but allow me to proceed now that our guest for the day is already here with us. Thank you so much, PDG PDG Mbui. We are grateful for you gracing our meeting today. And so I would like to invite Rotarian Eva Kaburu to just read the bio for our guest of the day and also proceed to invite the guest to at least share with us for the day.
Good evening, family and friends of Rotary. Hope I'm audible, Francis.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. I am Eva Kaburu, a proud charter member of Jabali. And tonight I have the honor of introducing one of my role models in Rotary and a fellow engineer. So past District Governor Peter Mbui is a member of the Rotary Club of Nairobi East, and his classification is machinery distribution. Peter graduated from the University of Nairobi with a Bachelor of Science degree in civil engineering, after which he worked as resident engineer at Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, then under construction. He was only employed for 3 years, so guys note that. Together with an elder brother, also an engineer, they founded Rift Valley Machinery Service Limited, a successful engineering machinery business in Nakuru, which quickly expanded to many Kenyan towns and cities, finally stabilizing with branches in Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, and Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. His company is one of the top 100 mid-sized companies in Kenya. The company represents major generator and water pumps brands from Europe, Asia, and Australia. He also serves in the board of several businesses, professional and social, and educational boards. His service career started as a member of Nakuru Roundtable for 9 years before joining the Rotary Club of Nakuru in 2001, where he rose through the ranks to the post of president. He later transferred to Nairobi, where his business head office had relocated, and joined the Rotary Club of Nairobi East. He served as a president once more and rose through the ranks as an assistant governor, country chair, district secretary, and as a district governor in the year 2017-2018. As a past district governor, he served as an assistant Rotary coordinator in charge of several districts in Africa, and also as the chairman of the first international projects fair in our district. He has just completed his 3-year term as District Rotary Foundation Chair in charge of global grants and all Rotary Foundation activities. Peter is also a major donor to TRF, the Rotary Foundation, and a member of Paul Harris Society. He is married to Harriet, and they are blessed with 3 grown-up children, 1 son-in-law, and a granddaughter. Now, Peter keeps an active lifestyle and is very widely traveled, having been to all the continents. He has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Kenya 2 times, Mount Longonot 10 times, Aberdare Ranges, Kilimambogo and Gong Hill several times, as well as many hills and mountains in Kenya, USA, Europe, and Asia. He loves Rotary, reading, keeping fit, adventure, and leisure golf. And what you might not find written anywhere is that he has a very kind spirit. It is very easy to get comfortable around him because he does not discriminate on anyone, regardless of age, regardless of our titles in Rotary, regardless of our designation. He just accommodates everyone. So ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our PDG Peter Mbui.
Thank you very much, Kaburu. Good to see you. Today, I'm joined by my wife, and she just wants to say hello.
Hi, guys.
Can I hear one?
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you. So it's a pleasure to join you today to discuss the Rotary Foundation. And I'm pleased to see Guru after a long time. I didn't know you are in Jabali. Sorry, I could not attend your charter because I had been invited to 13 installations and they had already started by that time. So I could not be able to attend, but I noticed that you have been chartered. So I'm very happy to be with you, President. Wow, Karanja. I hope I'm not wrong. Karanja, you are the president, isn't it?
Yes, I am.
Good. So today I'm going to talk about the foundation. And this is a simple presentation to give you an idea of what the foundation really is. I had wanted us to watch a video, but we watch it later. So I'll start straight away with, we can go to the next slide there, what I would want us to cover today. Our learning objectives are only 3. Is a brief introduction to the Rotary Foundation, what it does and how it is run, what happens to our contribution to the Rotary Foundations, how they are used, and final, a call to action. What is your role? What are you supposed to do in as far as the Rotary Foundation is concerned? At the top, I'd said DRFC, but I'm actually ex-DRFC. So just know that I'm already out as a DRFC, but I remain very close and an advisor to the DRFC committee. So Rotary Foundation in brief. There was a man called Achclamp. He was a senior officer of Rotary. And from around the year 1912, he kept on talking about how Rotary needs a foundation. And in fact, he talked about how Rotary needs an endowment fund. And many people did not understand what he was talking about. And they generally ignored him, asking, what is this endowment fund you are talking about? But in 1917, he had risen to be what we call now the RI president. And in his RI convention, he made a surplus of $26.5. He opened that endowment fund he had always been talking about. And that's when people understood what he was talking about. He was keeping the money in perpetuity and only the interest would be used. And later it was named the Rotary Foundation. It grew steadily over the years. And last year, it had a net worth of $1.5 billion. And the disbursements last year to grants were totaling $384 million. So as we move on, I want to ask yourself, $384 million was given to Rotary clubs all over the world. Was Jabali one of them? Or is Jabali going to become one of them that is going to receive that? So that is what we are to discuss about here. And that should be your target. Next year, when we read out that figure, I want Jabali to be among the clubs that receive that money. Last year, Rotarians contributed about $346 million, out of which about 1%, $350,000 came from our own district. So that money, our money was there. And the distribution went as follows, that 346. The main one was Polio Plus, which took 153 million. Global grants, the ones now I'm talking about that you should be involved in, 130 million. And district grants, which again, you qualify, there was 31 million all over the world. And the rest are others which are not very familiar with us, but totaling all to 384. So that is Rotary Foundation in brief. Next slide. How is it run? Actually, here I've listed 5 levels, but there are actually 3. First of all, the Rotary Foundation, the full name is the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International. It is owned by the Rotary International, but it's a completely different entity. By that, I mean, it is registered under a different act. It is registered as a trust, and the rules and the reporting system of the trust and the Rotary International are completely different. So let us say it's a completely different entity owned by Rotary International and is run by a board of trustees, all appointed by the RI president and led by a chairman and 15 trustees. Not 15 trustees, because it has an importance. The current chair is a past RI president, Ravi Ravindran from Sri Lanka, and Africa and Europe, Eastern Europe is represented at the board by our own PDG Peter Mbui. So I want to just mention that a bit to show you how serious that is. Remember, it is Africa and the whole of Eastern Europe, represented by Peter Mbui. The reason is there are 15 trustees and there are about 34, 35 zones. So each zone produces, each 2 zones produce 1 director. And even then it's not enough. Not all of them get a chance. So, or produce 1 trustee. So Eastern Europe and Africa, they produce 1 who is Gita Manek. Now, after she finishes her turn, it will be the turn of Eastern Europe to produce their trustee. So, and then after that, after a term of 3 years, then it will be back to Africa, or we might jump 1 year, 1 term. So we might not have anybody from Africa again for many years to come. For, let's say, another 6 years, we will not have anybody from Africa, leave alone from Kenya. So let's never take lightly the fact that we have a trustee, Gita, serving on that board. I hope we are clear there. Karanja, can you thumbprint to show that you have understood how serious that is and how much we should celebrate our own Gita? Good. Now, there's another level. That's the top level. That's the top level. There's another middle level, but this is not, it's just administrative. It is the Rotary, Regional Rotary Foundation Chair and the zonal team. Those are people who help, but the funds do not really come. That is Eric Kimani. I also served at the zonal level at one time as an assistant regional coordinator. But the real level, the third level is the district. And in the district, the signatories are AZEB, AZRAT, the DG, and the DGE. Those are the signatories to the Rotary Board trustees. They are the ones who are considered officers of the district. And then, of course, there are what we call Kadaya Moko is the DRFC, the office, which I headed, now headed by Protas, and the DRFC team. So that is the district team led by AZEB, who appoints the DRFC. Now, the third level is the club, yourself. Karanja, you are level 3, and you have a club foundation director and all the other directors involved in fundraising, if they are different, but foundation director is the one who handles that. So it is from trustees, the district to the club, as simple as that. That's how the structure is ran. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, I want us to look at how the money we contribute, how it is spent. And I want you to look at the top 3 rows and just look at the items in red. Forget about the other ones. So this is a report, a true report for last year. Last year, we were spending the money which we contributed 3 years ago. Let me explain that. Rotary Foundation is very interesting. I sometimes wish we could borrow from it, those of us who are employed. The money you earn or the money you contribute to the Rotary Foundation is not touched for 3 years. I wish Karanja, the salary you earn, there was a way you could not touch it for 3 years, so that you know you are proper, you have sorted out your finances properly. So that's what Rotary Foundation does. So it just puts it in investment 3 years. So last year we were spending the money of 2017, 2018, and we had contributed $137,000 US. And so as DRFC, I received a message from TRF that they have deposited $68,714 US in my DDF, our district account. That is district designated fund account. That is exactly 50% of what we had remitted. So remember, the money you pay to the Rotary Foundation annual fund account, 50% of it comes back to the district, and it is up to us to spend it in the manner we want. And now, there are those people who pay the AKS. This week, or is it last week, we got a new AKS. That's somebody who has contributed $250,000 US. That's Eric Kimani, Margaret Kimani. They contributed $250,000 US. That money is put in a permanent fund, endowment fund, and we only take the interest. So the interest last year were totaling 10,000. That is below the 68. And there was some carry forward from the last year, the previous year, which was 24. So my account at the beginning of last year, when I was DRFC, was credited with 103,721. And I was asked together with the DG, can you spend that money? Now, if you didn't know, that is the one we can spend. Number one, 50% of it, we can use it for district grants. And that money is available by applying just to the DRFC, and you can get your 2,000 to 3,000 US, depending on how much we had contributed. But in this case, we were not able to do the district grant, so we spent it as follows. Look at all those clubs listed in red, or is it brownish color? Mtwapa, Addis Ababa West, all those applied for funds from the DDF, and we gave them those funds there on 5,000, 5,000, 1,000, all the way down to Muthaiga, 5,000. I can't see the total on my page. I don't know whether it can scroll up a bit, but anyway. No, go back. Go back again. And in fact, go back, click on, click again, yes. So anyway, I can't see the total probably on my computer here, but the total I think is 103 at the bottom there. Karanja, can you see the total of 5,000, the ones in black at the bottom?
97.
97, yes. Now, so I gave out 97,000 out of the 103 we had got. That was matched by TRF. Straight away, the club was added another, if it's Mtwapa, they were added another 5,000. If it's Addis Ababa West, they were added another 5,000. And all the way down, exactly the amount I gave, they were matched the same amount. There's one at the top there, which we're not going to it. We also give 20% of our DDF to polio. So whenever you give to the Rotary Foundation, you know how the district gives out a bit of the money to polio as well. And that is one is matched double. It's not matched 1-to-1, it was matched 1-to-2. So the top one in greenish, 13,743, it was matched 27,000 because it was for polio. But in total, all the money we had contributed, which was 137,000, by the time it was matched, we already had all the money we contributed back here in our district. So I am answering one of the most difficult questions Rotarians ask. Where does the money you contribute go to? The money you contribute is given 50%, then it is matched, and it all comes back 100% to our district. So if you don't get the money, it is your fault. But the money came and it is distributed right here and it comes to our district. But it did not come alone. And that's why we have the total, the third column there. As the money comes back, it did not come alone. It came with other money. So we have used our money, your contribution, as the bait. And when we threw the bait with our small one, that is 7,000, what did we get at the bottom there, the green one, the blue one, Karanja? What is the total at the bottom there?
1.5 million.
Yes, we gave $107 dollars, and we got, no, it's not million, it's billion.
Oh yeah, 1.5 million USD. So 1 billion.
Yes, yeah, equivalent of 1.5 million US dollars. So we gave 137, we got 1.5 million, which is roughly in Kenya shillings about 1.5 million. So please always remember that is what happens to your money. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I was to answer a few questions. One was, how do we participate? And how do you access grants? To access the grants, you go through a simple process called the qualifications. And the key item in qualification is one, your accounts. If you cannot account for your own club money for Jabali, then we cannot give you ours, because first of all, account yours to your people. Then we know that you have the culture of accounting. So that is why we insist on audited accounts. Then your membership, now there are some new rules. Your membership should be 25 and above to get a global grant, or 15 and above, get a grant. That we want you to contribute to the Rotary Foundation, and you have to attend the grants training seminar, because there's a procedure of applying for grants and there's some things you need to know. How do you utilize the TRF funds as Jabali? Please come up with project proposals. And the minute you do that, simply apply for the district grant or the global grant. There's no, the minute you become a Rotarian, it doesn't matter whether you are 1 day old in Rotary or 10-year-old, you have the same rights to apply for a global grant. So you are free, as we are talking now, to apply for a district or a global grant. But remember, you must attend all that training, those qualifications, to be able to access. So I'm just alerting you, once we declare district grants, just apply and you get. And you can also start going on the portal and trying to figure out how you apply for the global grants. Now, why should you, a new member from Jabali, who has just joined Rotary the other day, contribute to the Rotary Foundation? And I will answer that by saying, if you contribute 60 shillings, 60 Kenya shillings, about less than $1, it is enough to provide 1 dose of polio vaccine to 1 person. And so we don't take even your 100 shilling, your happy dollar, we don't take it lightly. That is 1 dose. And even though your contribution may look small of 1 happy dollar, it becomes a very big figure when it is pulled together, when we put all our efforts together. And always remember that 50%, especially if it is put in the annual fund, comes back to us as DDF and comes back in full if we apply for a global grant. Next slide. So my call to action. But I think before we complete, because this is my last slide, I would want us to play one of the videos. I don't know whether you tested whether they are working. Please play one of the videos. You can play the one for Nakuru, and it's a 10 minutes. The other one is a 5 minute. If we have time, we can play the 10 minute. If we don't have time, we can play the 5 minute. Let's see.
Water is life, goes the very common expression, an expression, by the way, that you find in languages all over the world. And it makes sense. When people don't have water, they die. And when they don't have safe drinking water, they get sick. They watch their children die. And when they don't have enough water, they can't grow crops. They go hungry, you get famine, or their livestock die.
It is serious. In total, there are about 1.2 billion people without access to safe water. 88% of the people in rural Ethiopia don't have access to safe water. And the situation in Kenya, rural Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda is equally bad. Women are having to walk between 6 and 12 kilometers a day. And when I say women, I'm including girls, 13, 14-year-old girls, or even younger, who should be in school, should be learning.
We were walking 4 kilometers, over 10 a day, just to collect a 20 liters jerrycan of tongue, and which it was not enough.
The whole job of looking for water can take up to 6 hours a day. And we are only talking about 20 to 40 liters. Can you imagine how a family of, say, 10 we can survive on 10 liters and spend 6 hours every day looking for that water?
Well, John Mbui was a Kenyan from Nakuru who was concerned about the internally displaced people in the Rift Valley area. And so he was trying to figure out a way to help them.
Mostly to help the women so they don't have to haul water for 3 or 4 hours a day.
So John discovered all these problems this family is facing. And he had in his mind, he being a water engineer, he realized we could probably try to harvest rainwater. So John invented these low-cost tanks.
The longest dry period we get is about 90 days. But if you have a water tank, which can hold about 10,000 liters, for drinking and cooking purposes, that water is enough for those 90 days.
The dream John had was to build 1,000 tanks in 10 years, over 10 years. That was mean we're going to build 100 tanks every year. It looked like a very big dream. In fact, it looked like we could never achieve it.
One of the questions was, how do you manage this large group of people, and how do you service a larger area and when you're building 1,000 tanks? So what John Mbui did, came up with a plan of breaking up the community into Rotary Community Core, RCCs.
We found this model where we have an RCC and then a Rotary Club to work very well. There is control. You're dealing with the grassroots people. They are organized. They are reporting to the Rotary Club.
And they control their labor in a far more efficient manner than we ever could, because they believe in what they're doing and what they're getting out of it. So their contribution is time and a lot of effort, a great deal of effort.
John always talked about, from his own experiences, he looked at water as the entry point to to alleviate poverty. So providing clean water to the family was just a stepping stone to bring other things.
To get a tank, you had to have a functional latrine. They would plant 100 trees, and they also would have to participate in a microfinance table banking.
One thing that became very popular among the beneficiaries, beside the tank, is the table banking itself, because the members are able to meet once in a month, save money on the table, borrow money on the table to finance their own project.
The number of women who wanted to have water tanks swelled so much that we've been totally unable to handle.
We had almost 400 people waiting for the tanks. They had done the fulfillment, having put a toilet, having planted trees, having gathered local available materials, and now they were wondering what next. That was the end of 2005. Unfortunately, at the beginning of 2006, John Bugwa went to Worldwide Water Forum in Mexico, and he didn't come back. He passed on. It was suggested we do a 3H grant, and that changed the project to a program, because we are able now to get over $600,000, $300 from Rotary Foundation and Rotarian, and $300 was Canadian government that was supporting Rotarian. We are able to clear the backlog, and we are able to build over 1,000 tanks within a span of about 2 to 3 years. And that changed everything. At that time, Rotarian from Holland came on board, and they also raised a lot of money. Then, with the assistance of Rotarian from Canada and us, were able to help them to start a secondary school, which this school started drawing their management committee members of the school from the RCC members, simply because they had training skills on how to run meetings.
The obvious tangible benefit of this program over the last 17 years was well over 6,000 tanks, which provided clean water for 50,000 or so people, which is a significant number of people. Of those tanks, 50 or so were schools. We also planted roughly 500,000 trees. We helped initiate and start table banking in a microfinance system that had about close to $100,000 in circulation. That tangible benefit was obvious and measurable, but one of the things that's difficult to measure was in some of these communities, especially in one case, Alamenteta, the community RCC had evolved to a point where they weren't looking for basic needs of water and survival. They were actually had built a school. Rotary had supplied that school with tanks for water, and they were asking for lab equipment for the school. So the next generation didn't have these problems that the first generation had who settled in this area, which I think was pretty impressive when you really consider it.
It's not enough to do a few tanks in a few villages. What we're looking at is rainwater harvesting in this case as a major response to climate change, to water resource constraints. And where we can work with Rotarians is to try and take these ideas and these tested models into villages across Africa, into, in fact, cities across the world. Because rainwater harvesting is not only a phenomenon that is relevant for Africa, it is relevant to every part of the world.
When you look at John Bugwa and the key people involved in this program, you can make that difference exponential if you think holistically with a larger scope in terms of a systematic program that delivers a service over a long period of time.
Since I get that tongue, my life has changed. The long distances that I was walking, now I have stopped. And my family, they were eating food very clearly, and they are drinking a clear water, and my children have got a better education. Now we are not suffering from cholera and other diseases which are being brought by water. And I myself, I have rest. Instead of walking all those 10 kilometers to fetch water, I can stay for 2 hours in my house and knit my beadwork and take to the market. And when I come back from the market, I have the water. So I'm very proud of having the tongue.
Okay, I'm clear I can be heard. Samuel, I can continue?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, now, I was not just showing you the video for fun. There was an exam after the end. I wanted to know what areas of focus your members have seen, and in that video, in that presentation, how many areas of focus? I was just giving you an example of what is being done. How many areas of focus did you see on that video? First one, first of all, do you know the areas of focus? All right, I'll enumerate them. Peace and conflict resolution, water and sanitation, disease prevention and treatment, maternal and child health, basic education and literature, economic empowerment, and environmental protection. Yes, those ones, 7 areas. Which areas have we seen? Ranja, I'll ask you, talk on behalf of your people. How many areas have you seen? Yes, water and sanitation, I can see from Mutia Mule. Basic education, wonderful. Somebody else, they are posting. Disease prevention. Hey, where did we see disease prevention? Okay, yes, because of clean water. Yes. Water again. Economic empowerment, beautiful. Yes. Did anybody see basic education?
Yes, James McCory's hand is up. James,
yes,
just go ahead.
James, go ahead.
So sorry guys, it's raised by mistake.
Okay, all right. All right, I think you have seen. What I'm trying to say is that if you want to do a good project, you should try to do a project which has covers several areas of focus, not just one. Do a project that addresses many issues. They're almost the whole issues of the community. Don't go to solve just one problem. Try to have as many areas of focus as possible. Now, I do not know how much time we have. There was another slide, another video for 5 minutes. Can we spare another 5 minutes? Then I close. Or we can close.
Yes, we can go for another 5 minutes.
All right, then play the video. This is by the Rotary Club of Nakuru.
School in Lobur or for the mission, you talk with the chiefs and elders of the area. So still, and then now we are communicating. With the county, we are doing also. We are giving all the details of the areas that we have. Also, there's an agreement. But it's with the for me to make the school. We are 4 missions, so each one, okay, is giving. I mean, there is a budget.
This is Sandra reporting from Kopotia 2, Turkana, Fires in the Desert.
Karanja, are we stuck?
The internet is playing us. Let's just give it a few seconds, see if it loads.
Okay, if you are stuck, we can proceed. You can look at it later.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, your members are joking that you have run out of bundles and those kind of jokes. I think just to lighten up the evening. But I think you have seen, by the way, so far, any areas of focus you have seen in those? In that particular video so far? Can you post? Yeah, economic empowerment. Thank you very much, Ben. Food security, yes, although it's not particularly an area of focus, but it can go, yeah, economic empowerment. Basic education, yes. Environment, yes. Don't forget water, is water. Yes, and again, as you can see here, conflict prevention as a result of food security. Wonderful. So even if we stop there, I think now we can go back to my last slide All that is possible through the Rotary Foundation. If you listen to the one from Nakuru, by the way, that started when I was president. I think I saw, I hope you saw me speaking earlier when I was president there. When we started, we had planned to do 1,000 tanks. As of now, I was there last year, they were doing the 7,000 tank. They had done 7,000 tanks. So that is only possible through the Rotary Foundation. So whatever you are doing, whatever good you are doing in the world, you can do 7 times more, 100 times more through doing projects funded through the Rotary Foundation. And when we say you support the Rotary Foundation, we say we are only talking about 2 things. You do good through in the world through projects funded by Rotary Foundation, or 2, you support the foundation with your gifts of cash and otherwise, so that the Rotary Foundation grows. And also that you end up using the Rotary Foundation, which belongs to us and is there for you to assist you achieve your ends or your projects. So I want to thank you very much, President, for inviting me to this, to be your presenter today. And I'm now open for any question. And although I hope that by seeing the videos, most of the questions you want to ask have been answered. Thank you very much. And I wish you a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, PDG. That was a very, very well done presentation. Thank you for the videos. I think they explain everything that the Rotary Foundation is. I'll give to our president of the day, Francis, to make a few remarks, run a Q&A, and then a vote of thanks. Francis?
Okay, thank you so much, PDG Peter Mbui. We are really grateful that you even honored to come today. I think I'm going to give this over to Gaia to handle the questions bit. Gaia, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, Francis, I can hear you. I request that I delegate that role to someone else, as I'm currently in 2 meetings, and I may be called into the other meeting also. My apologies. It's a work. I'm still in the office. I'm still in the office.
It is fine. It is fine. Mutie can take over. Mutie, kindly, please.
All right. Thank you, the president of the day, Rotarian Francis. And thank you to PDG Peter Mbui for the wonderful presentation. I think everyone, even those who had doubts on what really Rotary Foundation is, they have a glimpse of what it can achieve and the massive impact it can have on the society. And as PDG Peter has really explained, it really doesn't matter how much small or how much big you give. Every small coin really goes into making a big impact in the society, into preventing diseases, into empowering women, disadvantaged children in harsh conditions, setting basic education for vulnerable children, and really in a general, just making the world a better place. So thank you so much, PDG Peter, for that wonderful explanation. And I think I'm even now more motivated to really make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation. And I hope everyone will follow suit so that we can be an all-giving club to the Rotary Foundation. Thank you, Francis.
Mutie, you are to lead the question session.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if there's anyone who has a question, so you can just raise up your hand from the screen, or you can either type in the chat so that we can have them answered. Anyone has a question? Okay. So if you have a question, you can just raise up your hand, or alternatively, you can just unmute yourself.
Mutie is like, okay.
Mutie, a quick question to Peter.
Yes.
What happens when there is a project, a target goal, but as you go on, maybe you do not achieve the project because of different dynamics, and you are short on the budget. The funds are below budget. What happens?
Yes, that can happen because things change. The price of things change. There is inflation and all that. But Rotary Foundation is quite reasonable. What they do is that you can actually even change the project. For instance, I'll give an example. There is a club which had applied for to do a water project. The application, because of taking time before they raised their contribution and all that, took about 1 or 2 years. By the time it went through, the project had been done by somebody else. I think the county government came in and they gave them the tanks and whatever. All you do is you write to the Rotary Foundation and ask for a variation. It's as simple as that, because we are aware that from the time you apply, it can even take a year, probably 6 months. That's a lot of time, and things can change. And even, as they say, things change. As they say in Kiluya, vindu vichachanga. So things can change. And you just write to Rotary Foundation and they'll change it for you.
Yeah. All right, thank you, PDG Peter, for that. We have another question from our President-elect, Kennedy Gaya. And the question is, any ideas on how to grow our club, given especially for a young club? I think that's a very interesting question.
Yes. The idea of giving is to, number one, be inclusive. Try to get everyone to give a small amount, just like a happy dollar. Usually, if everybody in Rotary contributed $100, $100 only, Rotary would raise all the money they need. $100. We do not need to give $1,000, $100. And it can be done this way. You do, and I'm giving an example of what we used to do in our club, Rotary Club of Nairobi East. Whenever we do a fundraiser, we would give 10% as to the Rotary Foundation as a club. So we would, and then we could allocate to honor some people, make them be deaf and all that. But we do an ordinary fundraising, go for a video or whatever, take 10% of that and give, and assign it to everybody who attended or who contributed. That is the way you can make sure that everybody is involved. Again, the other one is, of course, the happy dollars. I believe, I know some people, life is not always forward. Some people are broke that sometimes. So, but Whenever they are happy, they give a happy dollar of 100 shillings. Within a year, somebody has given 5, 10 happy dollars. That's good enough. Yeah. So that's what I would recommend. Simple amounts of money. The people who are lucky, they have more, they can give more. But try to incorporate everyone. If you do a fundraiser, take a small amount and allocate it to everybody so that everybody is all giving. The club is all giving.
All right, thank you. I think, I hope, Kennedy, you are really well answered. We have another question from, I guess, Rotarian Chris Kuria, if I'm not wrong. And the question is there any specific project you'd like to see carried out by whichever Rotary Club?
No, we have no favorite projects because the projects are run by individuals, and the project you like, the one you find you can do, that is the one we want done. We don't want the project that somebody else wants. I want you to do the project which you have identified there is a need, and also which you want to do, because there are some projects which they are okay, but some people it is not convenient for them, they don't want to do it. You do the project you want, and we do not discriminate. In fact, in that list of the 7 areas of focus, you would be surprised to learn that water and sanitation takes almost 50% of all the projects we do in our district. And followed by, I think, maternal and child health. And the other one is, basic education. Not sanitation, disease prevention. And that's about it. So we have no problem, even if, in fact, it would be better, like the Rotary Club of Nakuru, which does only water. They just specialize on that and they do it well. There are many clubs which just specialize on one item and they keep on doing it over and over in other areas, and the expertise, that's good enough. We have no particular one there. The one which is least done is actually peace and conflict resolution, and followed by economic empowerment. We find that very few clubs which do that. But that is just the way it is, and we have no problem.
Okay, thank you, PDG. I hope the director of projects, Rotarian Kennedy Makau, is listening with his committee. Then we have another question from Nyakerario. Can you get a grants as a Rotary Club information?
No, I'm sorry, that one is a straightforward no. You must be a fully fledged Rotary Club with a number, Rotary number, where the application is done online. But you can do it with an existing club. So instead of applying directly, you apply through Jabali or apply through any other Rotary Club. That's okay, because so long as the club owns the project, we do not mind who has come up with the proposal.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Our director of projects, Rotarian Kennedy, do you have any questions? It would be interesting to hear any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mutia. And also thank you to PDG Peter. I think the session was very enlightening. I've been taking a lot of notes, so it's like I'm in class. So I don't have any specific questions. I think the only thing very specific to our committee is around the qualification of the officers for projects. I think maybe that's something you can clarify for the benefit of our members. On how for every project that we draw down from the district or the global grants, we need to have members in charge of the projects who have gone through training.
Yes, you need to have some members, not necessarily all of them. We like, first of all, an officer like the president, secretary, going through the training. Then the one which is done online with, and you join many other people. Because when you join a meeting with many people, you get questions. Some of the people do not ask questions, but you learn from all the questions that come from everybody. The other thing is you understand the basic requirements, so that when we talk about qualifications, you do not think it's a complicated thing, and you get to know the people whom you can access, how you apply online, how to go in, log in, and how to get assistance. All those things are taught. But an individual person to be on the committee, you can do the online training, club qualification training. There are, I think, 6 lessons that you can go through, and they are online. And each takes about 2 hours. If you are slow, if you are fast, it can take even 1 hour, and you finish the first training. It's just to let you know what to do. So yes, we need some few people trained in the club officially, and the rest of the people can do the training online, because you get a certificate from the district to show that you have been trained. And it is very important that you be trained so that you understand the basic requirements, like how you handle the finances, that you be expected to give audited accounts, that you have an obligation to the district and an obligation to Rotary Foundation. All those things you have to be taught.
Right. Thank you, PDG Peter. And thank you everyone for the questions. I think they were really good questions and well answered. So I'd like to take back the session to our director of the Rotary Foundation and our president for the day, Rotarian Francis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mutie, for that session and the questions. Those are very quality questions. We really appreciate. I would like to take this opportunity to now invite our very own Rotarian, Wanjiru Kimani, to give a vote of thanks. Thereafter, we'll have our charter president giving announcements, and then we'll have Emmanuel Terrer doing the SA session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks tonight. On behalf of Rotary Jabali, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, PDG Peter Mbui, who honored the fellowship tonight with his inspirational thoughts. What has struck a chord with me, that once we start a project, that we should have diverse areas of focus, not just one, as was demonstrated in the first video. I wish to highlight that all the community projects that are so impactful in changing the lives of the vulnerable in our society are made possible through our giving to the Rotary Foundation, which comes back to us in form of grants. We have seen that even a small amount like 60 shillings will make a difference, so no amount is too small or too big to make a difference. Finally, I'd wish to thank all who are present here today for making time to be with us tonight and making this fellowship the success that it was. Asante sana, and blessings to all. Evening.
Thank you so much, Wanjiru. Over to you, Charter President, for announcements, and then Emmanuel Terrer will do the essay.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you very much, PDG, for your time this evening. Thank you very much. I think just to report to our members and our guests, since some of our members have been in the Rotary family for a while, so as we were forming the club, we transitioned already 5 Paul Harris Fellows from Rotaract to Rotary. So as a club, we were starting on a good note when we were chartered 5 PHFs. And also this, within the our first 3 months, within the first quarter of this year, we have 1 more PHF who will be recognized at the upcoming TRF dinner next month. I think it's only right that I keep that information private before the dinner, but thank you very much to our first PHF as Rotary Jabali. And also of our members, our current report reads that 14 of our members are givers to the foundation, but we still have, a few of our members who have not made their initial contribution. And I believe, as Muti has said, we are all encouraged to make that first initial contribution. And once you begin, I think you never stop. And also next month, which is November, is the Rotary Foundation month in the Rotary calendar. So we'll be communicating a few of the initiatives thought by the board and the TRF committee to ensure that by the end of this Rotary year, every one of our members is a giving member. And also our guests, you can still donate even before induction. And that will be great. So thank you very much to everyone who gives. Thank you to PDG for spending the evening with us. And I'm sure this talk will get us 100% all giving club and a lot more PHFs in the near future. And I think the next one is Mutia. You can tell by his smile. Thank you, Mutia, in advance. So I'll just make a few announcements before inviting Terrell. If Terrell is there, say, then we might leave here when we are poor. But Terrell, be kind. So a few announcements. Our next fellowships. So today we had the Rotary Foundation Fellowship. Thank you very much, PDG. Our next meeting is on 9th, but I've just put the 2nd November board meeting on this schedule. Not as a reminder to the board, all the board members already have the invite, but any club member will be willing to attend the board meetings. As a club, we said board meetings will be open to all our members. You can come contribute, you can share your thoughts. We have nothing to hide as a club. So as long as you're a club member, our board meetings are open, especially the upcoming one is very open to members of the club. If you're not a board member, we continuously encourage everyone to be a member of a committee. And I'll highlight the committees at the end. I think Eva is cooking. Hey, Eva. And then, so after the board meeting, we have our club assembly, members only, on 9th of November. So the board meeting will also inform part of the agenda of the club assembly. So these two are the next most important things happening at club level. Then our next meeting after that will be on 23rd, that is work in progress. And in December, we'll have 2 meetings, activities. The first is our first club AGM. We are yet to settle on a date. We'll definitely settle on a date in the during the board meeting and communicate the date before or during the club assembly. So we'll have a club AGM as the first activity in December or late November. The AGM will include financial reports from Charter Till, PEN. We'll also include elections of the next executive committee and any other matters that we need to resolve at club level. And hoping by then, and no pressure to the projects and TRF committees, we can have all our documents for club qualifications for grants so that the members approve during the AGM. And by the new calendar year, and by when the district grants are open, we can be qualified and hopefully get our first grants this year or next year, given the projects that the projects committee has in mind. And the year is almost ending, so our last fellowship will be on Wednesday, 14th December, right before Christmas. Besides that, and here I will not put anyone under task, but members, you know the discussion we were having earlier in our members group. A few months ago, 1 month, 2 months ago, we formed buddy groups, and reports as they were received during a meeting last week is that some buddy groups are yet to meet. And some have met, some have met physically. Our buddy group, we had a very good barbecue at one of our members' places. Anthony Kabetu hosted our buddy group at his place. We had guests, we had our siblings. It was such a good meeting that we forgot to take photos, but we spent, I think, the whole Saturday afternoon up to about 8 p.m. Just good vibes and chills and a lot of food. So all buddy groups, you are encouraged to meet up. If the meeting is good, we'll know you never took photos. And if you send photos when Terrell is sleeping, you'll pay fine. You'll pay fines at the meeting. So Terrell, you start by fining yourself for the evidence tabled earlier today. And the last two announcements, all our members are encouraged to join our committee and even our guests. So last week we had a board executive committee meeting. We are planning the first induction as Rotary Jabali. So far we only have charter members, and we are looking forward to inducting a couple of members as and when they are ready, or as and when we have a good pool for induction. And you know, an induction is a good party. But part of the requirements, and I hope everyone saw the poster we did about how to become a member. Your nomination for membership is by the directors in the committee that you are a member. So we really encourage that you are a member of the committee when a member and even before membership, because it's at committee level that most of the planning happens for our club. The board just approves or not approve, but committees is where the work is done, is where you get to your voice heard on what you want the committees on the club to do. The projects you want us to do, there's no template, it's the projects that you propose. The members we induct, there's no other person that approves except, you know, the committee. The activities we do are organized at committee level. The posters are done by the public image committee. So we really do encourage that everyone is engaged at committee level. If you're a member and if you're looking to be a member of the club. The committee chairs are Terrell for membership. He'll be your SA today, so you can side chat him when you see his name, but he's always Terrell, Emmanuel Terrell. Mutie was running the Q&A session, and Macau was the one who asked the last question. So once you engage at committee level, the directors will nominate you for membership, and that's how we shall get our first induction pool. So please engage at committee level, even as members, so that we all have a say at what is happening. We all have a say on what is happening at the club. And finally, at district and Rotary International level, district conference is coming up in May next year, 11th to 14th. RI convention is coming up same month. May 31st of May. We've been circulating this info too. Just inbox myself, Antoine Murago or Eva Kabu.
SK, you're mute.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you, PDG, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you soon. Santi sana, and enjoy your evening. And our regards to your wife. Terrell?
Hi, SK.
Ni wewe say, rumor has it.
No, I'm not in a position to, I'm in a very, I can't talk where I am. You know where we are at now. I just wanted to tell you that we may need a foundation to buy bundles for yourself. But that would be fine.
Wow. Wait. Francis, you might want to have another essay who is
Antoine.
And Antoine is the only one who was Rotarian before his name. Antoine, over to you.
Good evening, members, Rotarians, family and friends of Rotary. It's that time once again for us to share our happy dollars, and for those who are extremely sad for tonight, they can share with us their sad dollars. Nani ako na happy dollars? You can do them in the chat, or you can raise your hand and tell us your happy dollars, or the reason you're happy. So as we continue, so for the new members or for our guests, and as PDG Peter has said, the happy dollars sana sana ni za kusaidia klabu. So there are different reasons why we have happy dollars or the sad dollars. Either it's to support the club administration, or it's to the club can decide to give to the Rotary Foundation. Yes, let's see whether we have people who've raised their hands. Naona bado, but I can see Mutie has given us 5 happies. Mutie, umefurahia nini? Ukiwa na Mark Gojiri, tuambiani umefurahia nini bada. And for Terrell, uliekwa ile alikuwa naitwa aje? Yule jamaa alijianika ile club the WhatsApp group ya kanisa. Kama umelala.
I think others should be fine for having a poor camera. I was not sleeping. I was moderating the meeting.
So we find you $5 kwa kulala while others were having serious meeting.
I'll just pay, like he needs to pay for having a poor camera, bad camera. Those were.
So who had a bad camera now? Is it you?
Other had the screen. You see, it had a bad camera. I can't be moderating the meeting and I'm sleeping. I'll just pay my fine, but he needs to pay also $5 for having a poor camera.
Siongeze tano hapo ya $1 for the bad camera.
No, sasa si yangu ningelipa ingekuwa yangu. The bad camera belongs to other, and I will follow up until he pays the $5.
We might file Terrell again for defamation. Character assassination.
In the same spirit of in the $1, I want to say something. na hiyo ya time ya $5 ya 5. I don't know if you guys have tasted Mwenis cakes. This is not an ad, but those cakes slap hard and home and everywhere. We just want to eat it. Haina sukari mingi, haina just enough. I think when God created the world and when he was resting, he ate Mwenis cake. So this is not an ad.
Hiyo joke ungetupea joke time bana, lakini imefly. So 3 happies from Priska. Asante sana Priska, ungetuambia umefurahia nini? Any other happies? Any other sad dollars?
Ben's hand is up.
Mr. Ben, over to you.
So I'll give 2 happies. One is for the good presentation, and the other one is for Terrell, fine to go up to $6 because he was not at a position to speak, but apparently there is where he draws a line. So we need to add $1 fine.
Priska, I hope una note hapo. Terrell yake inaelekea kufika $10.
Kennedy's hand is up. Macau.
Poleni sana. Mimi vitu natumia huku sioni mikono. Mr. Kennedy, over to you.
Yeah, 3 happies. One for the presentation today and our guest speaker. It was really good and enlightening. And we really like the encouragement that he has brought, especially to our team. Another happy for the adverts by Terrell. I think the Valentine's cakes are really good from everyone who has tested them. And thirdly, for the meeting today. And I think you should add Terrell for arguing with the SA. It's usually a mandatory fine, so I'm not sure how he got away with it.
Kipu state.
Ya Terrell imefika 10, so hapo tu atatutumia $10. So Kennedy, it's 3 happies. Any other happies or sad dollars? Members, menyamaza sana. Irene, umefika nyumbani ama unapanda stairs? Tuambie tu. Valentine, keki imeuzwa. Haujafurahia?
Antoine.
Yes.
Valentine did 2 happies. I don't know whatever you're using, you're able to see the charts.
Amepeana tu saa hii after nimemtaja tu.
Hapana, alipeana kitambo niliona.
Antoine.
2 happies from Victoria. Yes, Terrell.
I hope umesikia kenye our CEO Kapo Vuji amesema hiyo kitu unatumia, I hope unaweza ona chat. I don't know whatever unatumia smoke signal. How did you let that fly? But it's fine.
SA uko lenient, watu wanakutukana.
I'm in good mood today, so acha watu waseme tu. Nimeona 2 happies from Wajiro Kimani. Kizungu yako ilikuwa on point. $2 sad from Eva Kaburu for Victoria for having a tough week. Hey, Victoria.
Hi.
How are you?
We are managing.
Kwani, what are you signing? You had a bad week.
Si unajua tu hii season Hii season imeanza.
Sawa sawa, all the best. One happy for an informative talk. That is from Eva Kabul. Before I return the mkutano to the AG president, aka the director of TRF, kuna any other happies, sad dollars?
Niko na swali.
Nani huyo? Hatujafungua Q&A. Terel. But
It's too
unajua,
hot.
but you know Terel, ile wakati unafaa kuongea, unafaa kusema niko na $2, nataka kusema hivi. Sasa si kusema ati niko na swali.
Ongea na Priska, muulize Priska nani amemswam M-Pesa. Swali yangu ni mbona mtu acting, for example, kuna kwanga na initial ya AG hapo mbele, but kwa acting as in mbona ni AG?
So the first letter ni A na the last letter ni G, ama unataka tu explain aje?
Nataka labda hata ingekuwa ACT ndio mtu aelewe haraka.
Tutakufine bwana. If there are no more happies, if there are no more sad dollars.
Antoine, I'm giving happies, but I'm also giving sads.
Okay.
I'm giving 5 happies and then 2 sads. The happies is for today's meeting and for everyone who participated, and also for the great talk by PDG Peter Mbui. And then the sad is about Terel. I don't know, wherever you are, it's interesting because I was supposed to teach you how to cook uji. I don't know what happened. You just disappeared. So now you are here complaining.
So I can see we have 2 happies from James Makori. And we also have a question from Chris. Anauliza hii season ni ya kupanda ama ni ya kulima? It depends uko wapi bwana. Kuna mtu ametuma ingine kubwa hapo lakini haingii. Anyway, over to you, Director Rotarian Francis Amodi.
Antoine.
Yeah.
Si nilishaongea?
Nilikuwa narudishia nani mkutano? Si ni wewe?
Sawa. Oh, you are done. You are through.
Yes.
Sawa. Thank you so much. I take it back to the charter president to wind it up.
Okay, thank you, Francis, for stepping in as president today. I think that is how we shall know who are the next presidents of the club. So we'll be having a different acting president as often as we can, and a whole team to run the fellowship. So that we can hear from more people and more people. So today's fellowship was run by some members of the buddy group that Francis is in, and also some members of the project's TRF committee. So the next buddy group, beware. So I think the buddy group that has not met should run the next few fellowships. So please meet before then. Otherwise, you might get a call to run one of the next fellowships. With that said, I think just screenshot this slide so that you don't miss any of our activities. You'll definitely get emails from our PR team. And you'll probably see it in our socials and our WhatsApp groups, which are not as noisy. We are good people. Yeah, I think with that said, final toast. Antoine was keeping a record of the happy dollars. He expects 61. The teal number is this one. You can send on teal. This is the teal number. I think now M-Pesa is working everywhere, regardless of the nation you're in, as long as you're using the app. Yeah, so this teal number is registered under our club, and it's free to send money at any point. So the clubs that were joining us today, if I am not wrong, that should be Rotary Club of Nairobi East, where PDG is a member. And I'm not sure I saw anyone else. Before Vicky kills me, there's a link that we register our attendance. So part of what we're doing is this attendance is tracked. I think this is an important announcement to make. The attendance is tracked, and our secretariat and attendance team has said, if you do not register, you do not attend the fellowship. And some of us who always forget to register are trending at 0% attendance, even when we were online. So ensure the secretariat does not get you off guard. Ensure you register. We keep track of this trend just to see our activity as a club, and ensure we are all active so that we can see who our members or our guests is not around, and we can always give a call. So please ensure you register. Otherwise, the secretariat will say they never saw you, which is only right. So that said, in recognition of the Rotary Club of Nairobi East and Rotary Jabali, please put your right hand across your chest, or if you're having your favorite midweek drink, let's make a toast to Rotary and Rotaract the world over.
To Rotary and Rotary.
Rotary the world over.
Thank you very much. I think there's the video that I didn't play to the end. So let me just get back to it. So don't go away yet. This is a project by Rotary Muthaiga. It was 2 minutes left. So let the 2 minutes play.
Thanks, Priska, for the bundles. I know some.
We are giving all the details of the areas that we have.
Also, there's an agreement.
But it's with for me to make the school. We have 4 missions. So each one, okay, is giving the budget.
This is Sandra reporting from Kopotia 2, Turkana, Fires in the Desert.
Finally, the internet worked. Terrell Tuma bundles.
Okay. Kwa hiyo the Nakuru project imeandikwa Rotary District 7090. So that means it was more of a collaboration project.
Yes.